as we go, we'll start off with the history. As we go through this list, we're going to take each one of these items and we're going to turn it into a memory object that we're going to put here. And I've created one for each of us. And then I'm going to show you like literally a picture that I found on the internet that comes close to representing that object. But let's understand how to quickly and easily create a memory object. Okay? So typically there are 4 ways that when you're presented with a fact, like Churchill. Okay, this is one of our World War II leaders that we want to create a memory object for and store in our brains. When we get a fact like this, like Churchill, there's 4 ways that we're going to go from the item, the DTR item, to the memory object. Okay, one way is we already have an image for the DTR item. Churchill is a person, and many people, I have a picture in my head of what Winston Churchill looks like. Okay, he was the Prime Minister of England during World War II. He looks like a bulldog. He's an old guy. He sometimes has a cigar in his mouth, and he looks like a bulldog. Well, so I might already have an image for the DTR item. And actually, I'm going to pull up our manual here because this is something that we talk about here. So one, we already have an image in the head for the thing, and I use the image. For instance, helium. I think of helium. I already have a helium balloon in my head, so I just use that. Hitler is one of the leaders in World War II. If you know who Hitler is, you might just use him. In our math formulas, we say a square. Well, you know what a square is, so you can use a square. I also use a picture frame as a square. A circle. You could use a circle, but I also use, as you'll see, I use a hula hoop in one of our examples, and that represents a circle to me. And then there's a neon sign. So let's just say, actually, I'm going to return to this. Instead of doing this, I'm going to return to it. For each one of these, we're going to go through and we're going to make up a image. So let's do this together, and then we'll revisit this list. All right. So you say to me, I want to remember these 6 World War II leaders. Churchill. My goal here is to turn it into an object that I can see. So again, 4 ways. I might already have an image. If I know the person, I'll just say Churchill. That's my image. That's my guy. But if you don't know him, that doesn't work for you. So what you might use is number 3 here, which is sounds like or looks like to create an image. And what you do here is you think church, hill. So my memory object for Churchill is going to be a church on a hill. So what you want to do right now, and this is where you start to have to resist this is silly and this is going to take some effort, because it takes a little bit of effort for me to explain it, but this is going to go very, very quickly for you, as you'll see. Churchill, church on a hill. So what we do here is I need you to stop, take 5 seconds, and imagine a church on top of a hill. Once you've done that, and this is a key thing, you have to have done that. You have to. This is the thing that's going to make it successful or not successful in terms of locking in a memory. You need to stop, you need to close your eyes, and you need to visualize a church on a hill. So now I'm going to help you a little bit, because I click on Churchill, and you can see that my memory object comes up, and there's a image of a church on a hill. Now, if that's good enough for you, if you have one that in your head that's better, that's great. If this is good enough for you, that's fine. What this is going to do is that this has done a little thing in your memory that's important for us to revisit. One is it has told your memory, your mind, that this is important to you and that you are deciding to remember this. Your brain now has gotten a signal that you've done this little extra thing. You made this image in your head, and it is important to you, so it should decide to remember it. And what you've done also is you've mimied this. You've made this meaningful to you immediately. Churchill, the word Churchill was not meaningful to you. I mean, it's meaningful in history, but it wasn't meaningful to you. But now we've made it meaningful because it means a church on a hill, and you did this immediately upon seeing the item. And so now your brain takes that DTR and that Mimi and puts it together, and you now have this image in your head. Now we're still going to have to review it a little bit, but now you've got this image to work with. You're not trying to think about this word Churchill that doesn't mean anything to you. Now you have an image, an object, church on a hill. All right, the next one, Stalin. We take a look at our list, and how do we turn Stalin into a memory object? I'm going to use the sounds like or looks like to create an image. So Stalin, to me, sounds like a bathroom stall. So I'm just going to use the bathroom stall as my image for Stalin. So take a second, think Stalin, stall, and we're good. Okay? You don't have to spend hours reviewing this. You just need to take 5 to 10 seconds to lock that memory, or lock that memory object, rather, that image into your brain. All right, next one. This one takes uses sounds like or looks like to create an image as well. Hirohito. He was the emperor of Japan during World War II. And Hirohito, I think heater, like a space heater, and a space heater that's a hero. Okay, so I forgot. I should have changed this image a little bit. So that's a heater. But what I do is I envision that heater, and this is what I want you to do right now. Envision that heater with a cape on it and a Superman S on its chest. Okay, so now just look at the heater, and then close your eyes and envision that heater kind of standing tall with a cape billowing behind it and an S on its chest. Okay? Once you have done that, once you have gotten that image in your head, then I want you to open your eyes and we'll move on. And that's all you have to do to lock a memory object in your head. All right, next one. Roosevelt. He was the president of the United States during World War II, for most of World War II. So what we can do here is we can either already have an image, or you can, I'm going to use the sounds like or looks like again. And you use that a lot if you don't know the topic. So what that sounds like to me is a rose belt. Okay? So I want you to look here and take a look at the image, and then close your eyes and lock that in your head, a belt of roses. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. You can do a belt that has a bunch of roses stuck in it, or you could do this, like that looks like a rose, or you could take an actual rose and wrap it around a belt. But what you need to do is you need to stop and create an image for this memory object in your head. All right? The next one is Hitler, and some people know Hitler, so if you know Hitler, then you can use him as an image. As you'll see when we start talking about linking and storytelling, it's great when you have a person already for the image, because then you can make them do stupid things, and that becomes memorable, but we'll talk about that later on. So Hitler, I use the term hitter, okay? So like a baseball hitter, like this. And so if you envision somebody up at the plate, then close your eyes as you do this. Close your eyes, envision somebody up at the plate swinging and hitting a baseball. That becomes your hitter image, okay? The key thing is, and if you're moving forward with this without doing it, then it's not, I will tell you right now that the memory objects will not work, and really none of these memory techniques that we're going to work on until maybe the last couple are going to work for you, because you have to stop, decide to remember, and make it meaningful. And that's how we do it, is we stop and we envision it. So you put the image of the hitter in your head and you're good to go. So then the next one is Mussolini. He was the leader of Italy during World War II. And I use, again, the sounds like, and I think of a moose leaning on something. So close your eyes and imagine a moose leaning on a tree or leaning on a wall. Okay? So I found a cute little comic that does that. Moose leaning. So you have images for each of these. Churchill is church on a hill. Stalin is a stall. Hirohito is the heater, but with the cape and the S on its chest. Roosevelt, hitter, and Mussolini. All right? So now, that's it. We're done with that. Now, we're going to come back and just do a quick... Actually, I don't know if we'll do this on the video, but we'll do this as part of a little quiz where you can just see. You took, maybe 30 seconds for each one to store it in your brain. Now, you don't have them in the order that they were born, and you don't know necessarily what country they were associated with. These are all things that can be added, and we'll be doing this next week. All I want you to do is realize that you could easily and effortlessly create memory objects and put them into your brain. So now if I say to you, what's a church on the hill? You say Churchill. And if I say to you, what's your memory object for Churchill? then you say church on a hill. All right, but let's move on to the next list.